plasma to eject the the gases to thrust me around. And so what we want to do is give focus much more on making all that whole sort of holistic aspect work. That also has the issues, the downside, the wear, that then means that item, as it gets older or gets worn, and you're not fixing it up. Like if you've got a damaged item, you're not repairing it, the chance that it can misfire or just have a critical failure is much higher, right? So what we want you to do is you've got your ship, you've been out there, you've in a fight, you've got to take back, you're going to have to repair it, make sure the equipment's in good size. It's like if you don't, do a overhaul of your jet engine every so many hours of operation, you could quite likely fall out of the sky in the real world. Well, we want you to have those same sort of calls, and and if you overuse it, like you just thrash your in the real world, you thrash your car all the time, you're on your brakes all the time. Well, at some point your brakes are going to fail if you don't replace them, right? So we need to make sure that that whole loop is in there and it has effects and players can feel it. And so there isn't any case where one player can just say, oh yeah, well, it doesn't matter, I've got so much power, everything's powered and everything works perfectly. I want a sort of trade-off in the ships, even big, expensive ships, that you have to make decisions on your resources. Am I doing this or am I doing that? And there's always there's a pro and a con for both of them. And then also having the item 2.0 finished out properly means that the multi-crew behavior that you can do is much more. Like, so one of the things in, say, a Constellation versus in a Hornet is the crew could run around and be fixing up components as they're sort of failing that would enable you to last longer in a fight or out in space. So if you're getting hits on your shield and your power plant is putting out energy to try and keep the shields up, right, as that strain on your power plant, the power plant would have at some point misfire opportunity. If it misfires, one of the fuel rods in the power plant goes. The power plant now has, say, 4 fuel rods, so now it goes to 75% power instead of 100% power. As a player, you could go and change the subcomponent, the fuel rod out on it, and get it back to 100% power. And the more, the same for other items could have fuses and stuff. So we have these subcomponents on the art, but having that whole loop hooked up, you can go and do stuff. I mentioned CFD on top of it, and it has some kind of much smaller stuff. But you're in a fight and the cannonball comes into your ship and there's a hole in your ship, and if you don't put a plank on it and you don't bail out the water, I mean, that's cool, right? There's someone's there, driving the ship, someone's down trying to bail out the water, someone's firing a cannon. And that's what we've had as our design from day one, back in 2012 and 13. And I sort of feel like we need to finish it off properly instead of talk about it and get it done. So that's a big sort of drive for me to. So I think it will provide a vast amount of fun and gameplay and challenges and trade-offs and discussions for
you talk about having to maintain your components today. I like having Han Solo and the Falcon in Star Wars versus Han Solo and the Falcon in Empire Back. One it's maintained, one it's not. You see the difference All right, and then the final of the feature improvements that backers will be able to vote on: FPS AI combat. The first stage of getting combat AI into the persistent universe. Now, this would expand mission types by introducing the risk that an AI could be waiting to ambush you on a distant moon or in a hull drifting in space. Now, when you say FPS, we're talking like not in the ships. Obviously, we have combat.
Yeah, we have ship combat. No, it's basically we have all these great space wrecks, but there's not a lot of, unless there's some other player there waiting to ambush you, there's not a lot of challenges. So the goal or the idea is always doing it. Like some of these wrecks could have some outlaws or pirates waiting to ambush you and prevent great unknown risk challenge, and also just kind of fun for us to use another part of our like we've got a very full-featured FPS game inside of our full-featured flight around space game, and you don't really have an opportunity to use it that much outside of playing other players. And ultimately, the goal in the stuff is universe is to sort of be 90% AI environment, 10% players, and the result the problem with player versus player stuff is that there's always a loser in that case, it's a player, right? So there's someone that's pissed off. But AI don't get pissed off when they get shot in the face. They don't get pissed off when they're thrown off the place. And so I think it's very important to have a lot of AI environment encounters, whether it's in space or on the ground. So as a player, even Ray, I can see, I took that pirate out, or yeah, I'm a badass, right? And I may not be nearly as good of a pilot as the guy that's obsessively, or the girl that's obsessively playing 30 hours a week and snipe me at kilometer or whatever. But it allows people to sort of have fun, because combat to a certain extent is one of the core. And so I think we're missing the sort of ground combat aspect, or like shipboard combat. And so this is the first aspect of it, and obviously definitely always on our plans, but we kind of want to try to make a bit of a push for it, just to have some challenge of variety when you're down on these moons, or these large amounts of area that we've created for you to explore. Like, let's have some challenges, let's have some risks down there, rather than just looking at the sunset or sunrise.
I can already see the Reddit that Chris hates PvP being created. We're kind of adding to it. We've got PvP now.
Yeah. No, I don't hate PvP. I think what you want to do is you want to have a game that allows for both, and allows people to choose kind of what they're more interested in. That's the service group and stuff and all the rest of stuff. And so I'm hoping that if we put a structure together the way that we're doing it, it will allow for both types of play. And I kind of view what's going to happen with PvP is going to be more player organizations, and they'll be fighting over resources on this vast amount of land and very detailed procedural system. So I sort of view you're going to have individual players that are playing in a lone wolf style, small groups of friends doing stuff together cooperatively. I can kind of see them being more kind of PvE focused, and let's go and adventure and do stuff and actually have fun and attack my AI pirates or whatever it is. And then the bigger orgs on a player basis are fighting over resources and various aspects that sort of player PvP events. But it allows people to sort of choose what they want. And a group of smaller groups could join in larger player groups and be part of this battle or versus org. So I think we can have all those in the game, and I'd like to do it in an organic, holistic way. So I don't want people to sort of only be in a PvP server or only be in a PvE server. I want it to be this is the world, and it's sort of up to you to play and choose.
So with that's the Alpha 3.2 feature server that'll go live later today. Look for that shortly after the conclusion of this show. We've got about 10 minutes left. Do you want to do some factor questions for
Sure,
the
let's do it.
Right off the bat, this question came up a bunch of times. We talked a little bit about it, but how far are we in the development of mining? It's a misunderstood question, but it came up so many times. I feel like I have to.
So we're pretty deep into it. We generate. We have a resource map for the various planets, which determines what kind of resources can be mined. It also determines what kind of rocks are generated. We already have the gameplay for controlling your mining laser and breaking apart rocks. The goal is that you should be able to, once you learn how to do it, you could mine just by sort of visual and oral feedback. But you also have sort of UI that will sort of be telling you like how much energy you put in, how close to the optimal zone the rock is, or it's going to go critical and blow up. But we're pretty far along now. I've been reviewing the sprint reviews of it, and it's looking good. So for by 3.2, I'm pretty confident that it'll be pretty full featured in college.
This question also came up quite a bit. One of the ships coming online with 3.1 is the Miss Raver. We've had the Dragonfly with 3.0. The Nox 2 is coming with 3.1, which is also a racing variant. We haven't had any additions to racing.
Yeah. So we've actually, we don't have it on the list here. We've talked about trying to get some racing stuff in for 3.2 if we can make it. Definitely in for 3.3. The other thing, which is sort of going